Hey everybody, and welcome to the channel, and welcome to the Ultimate Racing League on our Saturday Championship in the GR3s or Group 3s, whichever way you like to say it. This is round 7, and we are at Watkins Glen. For those not familiar with the view in front of us, that is the long straight heading down towards turn 1. We're not going bowling, we're actually going racing. So yeah, round 7. We've got 3 races for you today, all 3 15-minute races. As far as tyre rules go, I think it is softs and mediums have got to be used in at least one race. Excuse me, that is about it. They are sprint races, so get around the track as fast as you can. So as I've mentioned, we're at Watkins Glen International Circuit, everybody's favourite track. I don't think there's many people that don't like this one. It is in just outside New York in a town called Dix. That's D-I-X. It's 11 turns and 3.4 miles long. Actually hosted the F1 for 20 years from 1961 to 1980. So yeah, a track with a bit of history as well. But yeah, everybody loves this track. So we'll have a look down the grid after qualifying. I think it's about 10 minutes qualifying. So we'll have a quick look down the grid and see where everybody is, and then we'll get this race started, shall we? So on pole position is Fitzy in the GTR. Smith just behind him in another GTR. Osman in third on the grid. He's in the Genesis. Stormflight in the McLaren. He's fourth. Hoggy in the BMW, it looks like the Sprint Series, he's in 5th. Unforgiven is 6th in another GTR, very popular cars, these GTRs. 7th is Rufus, also in the BMW. Brian Moncani in a Porsche, nice to see a Porsche on the track. Fazer is 9th, another GTR. 10th on the grid is Brian the Mechanic with the BMW Endurance, I think that one is. And Pete in another Porsche. So not a great mixture of cars, is it? It's I think Osman is the odd one out in the Genesis. Oh, and Stormfly got the McLaren as well. But we'll see how everybody goes. And I'm going to get the right camera. There we go. So let's get this race underway, shall we? Rolling start as usual. As I say, we're not doing a lap count. We're actually working by minutes. So away we go. And have I got the track the right way? I keep getting these tracks the wrong way around. So there we go. So it is into turn 1. It's sweeping right-hander. You've got to be careful on the left-hand side. If you go drifting too far out there, you will get a penalty. As I see Smith and Osman already at it. Osman goes up the inside of Smith as they go through turns 2 and 3 up towards the long straight now. Osman then takes over in P2. Smith just behind him as they head down towards the chicane for the first time. Into the inner loop now. The chicane is not actually counted in the corners for some strange reason, but it is just the inner and outer loop. Then we go around turn 5 and then down the chute. Not literally down the chute, but that's what it's called, down the chute. And into turn 6 and then down towards the toe, and then there's a bit of a theme at the bottom end of this part of the track as we see everybody coming down. So down into turn 7, which is the toe, around there. Then you start on up the hill through the boot. The penalty zone is there as well. Oh, is that getting it all wrong at the back there? It's Brian the Mechanic. Let's just have a quick look at that. Let's just see whether it was just too much power or contact. It was just too much power. Very easy corner actually at turn 7 to get wrong if you get on the power too quickly. But that's Brian the Mechanic down in 11th. Not lost too much ground though, I don't think. So he should still be able to see the guys in front. Yes, he can. So gives him something to go at. But back up to the top end. And Fitzy now just coming around turn 10 up towards turn 11, another right-hander, and then he's back onto the start-finish straight to complete the first lap. So Fitzy just trying to open up a little bit of a gap now. He's on the soft tyres. Back to Osman in the Genesis. He's still in second with Smith still chasing him down. So let's jump on board with Smith as we try and chase Osman up through turns 2 and 3, and then we're on to the straight through turn 4 onto the straight now. Heading towards the chicane again. You've got to be really careful on the entry. You see that little bit of barrier there sticking out on the right hand side. You don't want to be clipping that. You can take as much of the curve as you can, as Smith did there. He went through there. Oh, I thought he'd gone there through there really well, but he's picked up a 1 second penalty, which is so unlucky. But he'll still keep going. That second though is going to cost him, because I think Stormfly is going to be able to take P3 away from Smith now. So Smith chases Osman through turn 7, start on up the hill. You can see the bar filling up, so there we go, that penalty served. Stormfly surely will go through into third. He does. Smith hanging on to fourth. He's got Unforgiven chasing him now though. Rufus really putting the pressure on Unforgiven. Great racing from Rufus. He's just sticking to the back of Unforgiven and just piling the pressure on, waiting for that mistake to happen. So go on Rufus, as Unforgiven seems to go very wide there. Be lucky if he doesn't get a penalty on that section of the track. It's at turn 10. If you go drifting out too far, then again you can pick a penalty up, but it does look like Unforgiven got away with that. So Rufus will just carry on putting the pressure on. Brian Moncani down in 7th in the Porsche. He's got Phaser all over the back of him. He's got Hoggy just behind him. So nice tight racing at the back here for P7. Bit of a three-way battle. Phaser looks like he's going to have a look at Brian Moncani around the outside as they get onto the straight. It is Phaser on the outside. Brian Moncani is defending. He comes across now onto the racing line just so he can get into the chicane safely. You do not want to be on the inside when you're going into that chicane, because as I say, that barrier just seems to step out at you. Hoggy is there and thereabouts, isn't he, in 9th? He's just sitting there behind these two, waiting for them to have a bit of a coming together. But good racing so far as Hoggy. He's having a bit of a look at Phaser now then. Did Phaser go very wide there? I think he did actually. Let's just go back a little bit. I think Phaser just went a little bit too wide here. Yeah, he did. You can take quite a chunk out of that turn, but if you go that far wide, then that's the result. He's picked up dirty tyres, and Hoggy said thank you very much, and he just steps through. So unlucky for Phaser, down into 9th now. And if we just look behind us, you can see we've got Pete on the chase. So Phaser will be doing everything he can to get back up just behind Hoggy and Brian Moncani. As I say, Pete in 10th with Brian the mechanic after that first lap spill. He's still playing catch up, but he is getting there. So back up to our leader and Fitzy, looking comfortable actually at the minute. He looks like he's still got that little bit of a gap. Maybe it's opened up just a touch more back to Osman. Osman still sitting in 2nd. Stormfly is now 3rd with Smith 4 after serving that penalty. So Smith now got a bit of a fight on his hands if he wants to get past that McLaren that belongs to Stormfly at the minute. Just behind them we've got Unforgiven and Rufus still fighting it out as they go down towards the inner loop of the chicane for the 4th time, trying to nick as much as you can out of those curves, but don't take too much, just like Smith did, and get yourself a penalty. But Unforgiven and Rufus both through there safely. So they're probably lining up pretty much now. Then we've got a bit of a gap then back from Rufus to Brian Moncani. He's just leading this little group, and Hoggy's now right up the back end of Brian Moncani and really putting the pressure on. Phaser really does like to take a chunk out of that corner, doesn't he? He's just picked up another penalty. Unfortunately, Hoggy having to look up the inside of Brian Moncani at turn 7. Up the hill, can't quite get it done. Good defending from Brian Moncani. Is Hoggy going to have another look as he goes into turn 8? No, he's not. He's just sitting there, isn't he? He's quite happy to just follow Brian Moncani round for a short while now. Into turn 9 they go. Hoggy's still putting the pressure onto Brian Moncani. Fazer just sitting in the background with Pete getting closer and closer actually, and Brian the Mechanic as well. He's done a great job to catch up to these guys. So Brian the Mechanic is now back in the fight, and he'll be looking at getting by Pete as quickly as he possibly can. Is he going to have a look as we go across the start finish line heading towards turn 1? Oh, Brian had a bit of a cheeky look, didn't he? Just to let Pete know that he was there, trying to unnerve him a little bit. Pete's having none of it, so now Brian the Mechanic decides to have a go all the way around the outside as they go in through turns 2, up the hill, through turn 3, into 4, and now onto the straight. Brian the Mechanic just couldn't get it done, but he's going to sit there just behind Pete in the slipstream. He needs to be careful though going into the chicane. Yeah, a sensible drive for Brian Mechanic. He's just sitting there at the minute waiting for his opportunity. Pete doing a good job of defending actually, but as he left the door open now for Brian to have a look. This fantastic racing, even though it is at the back of the grid. These two having a proper battle. We're going to go back up to the top though and see what's going on as Fitzy's picked up half a second. That'll give Osman something to aim at. He'll be encouraged by that. He'll be already plotting his move as Fitzy has to serve that penalty on the next lap. Stormfly still in third with Smith still chasing him down, although he is right up the back end now of that McLaren. Smith trying to get a good peep in the boot, but not quite close enough to see in there at the minute, but he is pushing. Fitzy with the current fastest lap on 43.7. I'm just looking at Smith's fastest, it was a 44.0, so not a lot in it actually, about 3/10 is Smith off the pace of Fitzy, so they're all pretty tight up at the front end. Oh, and Rufus, he's got past Unforgiven. Well, sorry we missed that, Rufus, but Rufus has now moved up into 5th. He has just come on tremendously these last couple of seasons. I don't know what whether it's down to practice or I really don't know what it is, but Rufus is flying at the minute and loving his racing, and so he should, putting in performances like this. So come on Rufus, another podium spot for you. This is what we're waiting for. Unforgiven trying to keep up with Rufus actually. It's I'm not sure whether it's the GTR against the BMW or it's Unforgiven against Rufus, but either way Rufus is leading this little fight at the minute. So maybe that BMW has just got too many beans for the GTR. I don't know. We shall see. We'll try and keep an eye on that. We've got about 5 minutes of this race to go. So let's just go up and see what's happening up at the top, as Osman is now right up the backside of Fitzy, because Fitzy served that penalty. Obviously there wasn't enough for Osman to get by, but he has now got a lot closer to Fitzy, so he could be plotting an overtake very shortly. We'll just have a quick look at all the tyres. I would imagine everybody's going to be on the softs for the first race, and as we go down, yeah, everybody's on softs for the first race, so be interesting to see the tyre changes over the next 2 races. Just looking at Fitzy's car, it's a great livery on there, isn't it? Do like that. So yeah, well done to Fitzy if you did that. Osman still pushing hard. Let's follow Osman as we're chasing Fitzy down towards the chicane, and we'll just see from a driver's eye view what happens when you're going in there. You just want to just miss that barrier on the right hand side onto the entry. Trying to be patient around this long sweeping turn 6, and then we go down, sorry, turn 5, then we go down the hill, and now we're heading towards the boot at turn 7. Bit of a camber on the road as well, so you've got to be careful there as well with the power. You can take a little bit on the left, as we've just saw Osman do that. Then it's up the hill then towards turn 8. We're touches the heel. So like I say, a bit of a theme going on at this part of the track. And then up towards turn 9 for the 7th time, and Osman just not getting close enough to Fitzy. So at the minute the podium looks like Fitzy, Osman and then Stormfly, although Stormfly coming under a lot of pressure from Smith. Agent Smith really putting it on now. He really wants to get back onto the podium position, doesn't he? He's in the slipstream as they head down towards turn 1. We've got about 2.5 minutes to go. Is Smith going to have a look, or no, he's not. He's just going to have to sit there for another lap or wait for his opportunity. Oh, and they went very wide there, both of them, but I think Stormfly just kept his tyres on the curbing, and it looks like Smith did as well. So they got away with that. They're both absolutely pushing the track limits to try and get this P3. So a fantastic battle brewing here between these two. One mistake is all it takes. We'll just have a look, see what's happening a bit further down. Rufus now has opened up a bit of a gap back to Unforgiven. So Rufus really is having a fantastic drive in there. I bet the sweat is absolutely pouring off him though. But he is loving it, isn't he? It's that NASCAR livery, that's what's doing it. But well done to Rufus. Unforgiven, well, he's doing everything he can to get back up to within striking distance of Rufus. But at the minute, looks like he's having trouble keeping up. Hoggy in 7th. So he did manage to get by Brian Moncani eventually. And again, sorry we missed that. You can't watch everybody. Brian Moncani down in 8th. The Porsche's a proper handful this season. It's since the update. A lot of people have been struggling in the Porsche. And well, Brian, although he seems to be coping with it well, it's really not doing him any favours at the minute. Although he is now putting the pressure on Hoggy as Hoggy goes a little bit wide down, has a bit of a swipe at Barry. Brian Moncani tries to get himself on the inside as they go through turn 9. Now we're coming up to turn 10. He's on the outside. Got to be careful with this one. Is he going to look at the cutback? I think that's what he might have thought about doing, but Hoggy shut the door on him there, and it is the race down towards turn 1 again. Brian Moncani is going to have a look up the inside. Not this time. Fazer just sitting there in 9th, waiting for one of the guys in front to make a mistake. Brian the mechanic, he's got half a second penalty in 10th. It's not been a great opener for Brian the mechanic, but use this as a bit of a practice session and come back fighting for races 2 and 3. Same with Pete. Struggled a little bit on this track, so as I say, it's a training exercise for now, and just look forward to the next 2 races. So back up to the top as Fitzy goes around turn 7 for the last time. We are past the 15-minute mark, and this will be it for all of them. So it looks like Fitzy is going to take the win. He's opened up that gap again back to Osman. Probably looking, well, not quite a second I don't think, but it's around that mark, about a second gap. So Fitzy leads Osman just in the background. Stormfly just managing to hold on to P3, and Smith in 4th. So we'll just follow Fitzy around the final turn and across the line to take the win. Great win for him, well done. Osman in 2nd, Stormfly in 3rd, Agent Smith in 4th. Great racing from Rufus to take 5th. Unforgiven is 6th. Then there's a bit of a gap then back to Hoggy, but it looks like he's going to come across the line just ahead of Brian Moncani. So Hoggy 7th, Brian Moncani 8th, Fazer 9th, Brian the mechanic 10th, and then Pete is going to finish in 11th. So that was race 1. I hope you've enjoyed these. If you did, please remember to hit the like button, and if you've not already subscribed, if you could do me a big favour and do so, I would really appreciate it. So I will catch you all. I will clear my throat first. So I will catch you all very shortly for race 2. Join me then.